Welcome to Setting the Stage. I'm Brooke Savage. Believe it or not, it has been 25 years since the movie American Pie came out, and Jason Biggs is here to tell us all about how he's celebrating that. Jason, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me, Brooke. How are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Well,
25 years is a long time.
it is. First, give us some background information. How did you get into acting?
Oh my gosh, so that was even more than 25 years. That was about 41 years ago when I was a kid in New York. I was acting. My older sister was doing it, and so I just kind of followed in her footsteps. And yeah, I just started doing commercials and voiceovers, and then Broadway and some TV stuff, and eventually found my way out to LA when I was 19 and auditioned for and booked American Pie, although it wasn't called American Pie at the time. But and the rest, as they say, is
How,
history.
how did you land your role in the show? And were you 19 at the time? How old were you?
Yeah, I was 19 when I auditioned for American Pie. How did I land it? Just the regular audition process. You know, it was a great time. I had moved out to LA a few months prior to do a TV series that was canceled, and I decided I would stay out in LA. I'm from, New York, New Jersey. I decided I would stay out in LA and kind of test the waters a little bit. And it was a great time to be in LA because in 1998, there was this real resurgence of teen comedies, high school teen comedies. And so it was perfect timing for me. And I was auditioning for all of them and reading all of these scripts. And this script came along. It was not called American Pie at the time, but I remember reading this script and thinking, oh my gosh, this is on another level than everything else I've been reading. And, I would have been happy to get any role. But, this one in particular was really caught my eye. And I'm just very lucky that it worked out. Auditioned for it, went back again, auditioned, and, eventually got cast in the role. And, and it just right away we knew we were part of something special, but of course its success exceeded all of our expectations. And the fact that I'm here 25 years later, still talking about it, celebrating the 25th anniversary with this collaboration with Edwards Pies and, doing this special anniversary apple pie that they've made. It's crazy that I'm still here talking about it. I feel very lucky.
And I bet you had no idea it would become such a franchise. And I'm kind of very impressed because at a young age, this role, you really had to go for it and commit and do a lot of awkward scenes.
Yes, commit is a good word. And when I first read this script and I read the pie scene, I remember thinking, oh my God, that I need to do that. That is absolutely hilarious. I feel like I can feel his humiliation. I have a visceral connection to this guy in general, but also how he's feeling in this moment in particular. And I also thought, God, people will talk about this. It'll be so funny. I know how to play the comedy. And this was even before Eugene was cast. And then once Eugene was cast, he just brought a whole nother level to it. But I will say the day that I showed up on set, I freaked out a little bit. The day that we filmed the pie scene, I was in my trailer the morning of, and I called my manager, just saying, am I really doing this? This actually, wait, hold on. It's funny, but what if, And he was like, you go in there and you take care of that pie, my friend. And I did.
Good for you. Good for you.
And that pie has since taken good care of me.
Yes, good for you, because I don't think I would be able to do that. When people see you in public, do they quote certain lines to you from the show or from the movie all the time?
Yeah, I definitely get lines quoted for sure. Absolutely. And I feel like everyone, has a line that kind of a go-to line that they remember or like more than others. But honestly, the thing I found now at this point in my life, 25 years after the original release of the movie, it's more, it's not so much the quotes as much as it is a general feeling of appreciation. People, and happiness, it's never been negative. It's always, when people talk to me about the movie or they recognize me, it's always positive. It's always, oh my God, but there's now a sense, particularly with a certain generation, meaning my generation, there's a sense of nostalgia. There's a sense of having grown up with the movie. or with me, you know, a feeling of connecting to me and to this character and to this franchise in a way that brings them nothing but good feelings and good memories. And so, yeah, it's, you know, and that only happens over a long period of time. And if you are associated with something that is, you know, iconic in that way. And not a day goes by where I don't appreciate that, you know, it's really great.
Absolutely. And do you still keep up with some of the cast? I did see that you just were with Eugene Levy, right?
Yeah, Eugene is, I mean, he's like my second dad. I love him so much, and I see him whenever I can. He comes through New York, and I'll see him. Or, yeah, I was just with him at his ceremony for he got a star in the Walk of Fame, which was very well deserved. And yeah, I just love him and his wife and Dan, his family, his daughter Sarah. I mean, I've known them since they were, you know, in middle school. It's yeah, and you know, Eddie K. Thomas, who plays Finch in the movies, he's one of my best friends. I've actually known him since he was 8 years old. We were kid actors together in New York before American Pie ever happened. And so, yeah, and you know, I talked to Sean not too long ago, and Allison will text, and you know, but it's the thing about it is, no matter how long the period between talking to any of the cast members, when we reconnect, it feels like no time has passed at all, and that's because we have this special bond, you know.
I love it. And what made you want to team up with Edwards Desserts and not only just do that, but you also recreated the iconic scene, but obviously a more family-friendly version for the commercial where you play the dad?
Yeah, exactly. So Edwards and I have had a really good partnership going back a little bit now, and we've done a series of spots and collaborations with different kinds of pies. And you know, we had talked about this the 25th anniversary of American Pie coming up, and how we could do something fun that pays homage to the movie, to the scene, to the pie, but is also funny. You know, the thing I love most about Edwards is that, you know, they get the humor. They appreciate my humor. They appreciate this idea that I am the pie guy, because I do too. It's hilarious that for 25 years I've been the pie guy. And so we lean into it in a really organic and funny way without making fun of it, I think. You know, it's kind of, you know, I get the joke, and so do they. And so this scene, you know, is just, it is a shot-for-shot recreation, pretty much. And there's lots of Easter eggs. Like right there, you can see your is spelt incorrectly. That's how it was in the movie. Believe it or not, your was spelled incorrectly, and no one noticed it. And then here I am. I'm essentially doing the Eugene role. And, you know, I tell you, when I shot this, when we filmed the commercial that day, it was so wild. Because I was also, you know, trying to do Eugene's exact line readings. And it was so wild to be 25 years later doing a version of this scene where I was now in the dad role and saying Eugene's lines. It was yeah, it was just amazing. I mean, it was really moving. But I think the spot is really funny, and what's really great for me, you know, Edwards on their end, they also, you know, came up with this amazing anniversary apple pie that you can enter to win, actually, at pieloversunite.com. And it's got this vanilla cookie crust and spiced apple pie compote, white chocolate cream. It's an elevated version of the classic pie, obviously. But, you know, they came up with this, and it'll be released. Yeah, you can enter to win it, and you can also get American Pie memorabilia. So I just love that 25 years later, we can still do stuff for the fans of American Pie. You know, we don't know if there's going to be another movie. I would love for there to be. But in the meantime, this scene that we put out with the help of Edwards, I think will hopefully sate some people's, you know, desire to see more American Pie, at least in the interim. And you can eat this delicious pie along with it.
I love it, and that commercial was hilarious, by the way.
Thank
I
you.
did also want to say I love seeing you in Orange is the New Black. Are you able to talk a little bit more about that and what you're working on next?
Sure. I mean, Orange is the New Black was an incredible experience, and a really fun role, and kind of different. And you know, the thing about Orange is the New Black that I really appreciated, well, one is that incredible cast. I mean, just that huge, amazing, diverse, brilliant cast, but also this sense of, it started off as this, it was like the second Netflix series ever. We don't even know what Netflix, we're like Netflix, the DVD company, and it turned into this big thing. And so it felt very, similar to the American Pie experience for me. And as far as what I'm working on now, I have, with my wife and I are doing a reboot of Dinner and a Movie on TBS. And of course, this wonderful collaboration with Edwards. Again, pieloversunite.com. You can enter to win one of these amazing pies and some American Pie memorabilia. And I'm going to be talking about this for a little bit.
All righty. Well, thank you so much for joining us. I'll also be sure to post those details on clickorlando.com/setting the stage. Jason, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate talking to you.